We got some positive news, Saints fans. The latest updates around Kellen Moore are that the black and gold are narrowing in on the Eagles offensive coordinator as their next head coach. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I'm your host, Trizzy Trace Gerard. Don't forget to like the video, hit the sub button, all that YouTube cliche stuff. But really quick, let's just dive right in to the updates. Tom Pelissero putting this update out, late last night. That Mike McCarthy, he has decided to pull out his name and withdraw his name from consideration for the Saints head coaching gig. And unfortunately, that is another one that the Saints just will not get the opportunity to get a second interview with, or honestly a first interview with. And, I will say this. I broke this down last night. This isn't the first time I'm talking about it, so I'm not going to go into great detail. I did break this down in this video. Find this thumbnail on the channel. It's also going to be linked in the comments and description. So I discussed it and went out late last night. That's why you subscribe. That's why you keep your noties on, because we're putting out content at the wee hours of the evening. But all in all, Mike McCarthy, my take on it, it's okay. I really want Kellen Moore, but at the end of the day, I get it. He never even actually interviewed for the gig, so it is pretty interesting that the Saints never got the opportunity. They requested to interview him. They had one scheduled. He said, nah, never mind. Now, Mike Garafolo, he also added some context to Tom Pelissero's report. Coming off the Saints' second interview with Kellen Moore, the Eagles' offensive coordinator remains the most likely head coach in New Orleans. But obviously, nothing can be or has been finalized. That's because the Super Bowl week is coming up. If something has been finalized, it'll come out as they are expected to hire. They can't officially hire him until after the Super Bowl, so just want you guys to know that information. Jonathan Jones also adding a little bit more context. He's an insider for NFL CBS. He's in the driver's seat for the Saints head coaching gig. All in all, I think that this is his job. I really like the idea of Kellen Moore. Sure, it sucks that we didn't get Joe Brady. It sucks we didn't get Aaron Glenn. We didn't get Mike Vrabel. We never got the opportunity for Ben Johnson. I get it. It blows. However, you get a young offensive mind in Kellen Moore who has quickly climbed the coaching rankings in the NFL. And on top of that, I think he's going to bring a new youthful energy and a nice creativity and high football IQ to a team that, quite frankly, really needs it. I'm not necessarily worried about all the other stuff. I really like the X's and O's. I think all the rah-rah head coaching buzz, that'll all come with the job. All in all, I'm really excited, but we do have some more video coming up for you. I filmed the rest of this yesterday, but I wanted to still give you guys this information because it's a lot of important information around Mike McCarthy, Kliff Kingsbury, and honestly a really cool report about Drew Brees possibly wanting to be a coach. Well, hang out till the rest of the video and you'll find out. Hope you guys enjoy. Y'all stay golden. Tune into our live show later today around 4:30 Central. I need your help, Saints fans. The bosses here at Chat Sports, they're very interested in starting a Buccaneers YouTube channel, and I think it would be such a waste of time. Plus, there's only 10 or 12 real Bucs fans out there. So if you want to help me out and you want to prevent Chat Sports from adding the Buccaneers Chat Sports YouTube channel to our umbrella of channels that we cover and teams that we cover, I need you to hit the sub button. Hit the subscribe button for free content on top of that. Daily Saints videos. I'm a diehard Saints fan. I've been a diehard Saints fan my entire life. So if you want Saints content by Saints fans for Saints fans, or you hate the Buccaneers, hit the sub button today. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trizzy Trace Gerard, as always, hosting your show for you today. In this video, we're going to dive into some new updates around the head coaching search. Yesterday, we saw some stuff from Jeremy Fowler. We saw some things come in, so I'm going to dive into the latest around the black and gold. And then on top of that, we're going to dive into what Drew Brees said with Adam Schefter. He talked about, would he ever be the head coach? Has he put any insight on this current head coaching search? A lot of interesting stuff to get to here in a moment. So let's start off first with the latest news around the New Orleans Saints. So Jeremy Fowler, like I mentioned, transparency, we're filming this late on Tuesday. It's going to go out Wednesday morning. So just so you guys know, if I say yesterday, this is talking about Tuesday. Jeremy Fowler, on Tuesday, he posted this. I'm told that this interview started Monday night and went late into the evening/early morning. So this is in reference to Kellen Moore's interview with the New Orleans Saints, which Monday The Saints flew out to Philadelphia late Monday evening. Gail Benson, Mickey Loomis, and the crew, they flew to Philadelphia to go and interview Kellen Moore, who's preparing to play in the Super Bowl in New Orleans here in just a couple of weeks. And that interview, they left around like 5, 6-ish, something like that. They didn't wrap up until after midnight. So that's a pretty interesting insight right there from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. On top of that, Anthony Weaver has also come up as a candidate that's made a strong impression. And we've talked about Anthony Weaver a handful of times on the channel. Harbaugh loves him, thinks is going to be a phenomenal head coach. Maybe he can be a good candidate if you don't get Kellen Moore, if Mike McCarthy isn't an option, if you're just like absolutely not on Darren Rizzi, then maybe, just maybe, Jeremy Fowler's report around Anthony Weaver could mean something. So, or mean something in terms of like becoming a head coach, just for the record. Now, Jordan Schultz, he also added this to the mix. The New Orleans Saints, they will not be getting Kliff Kingsbury. And this is not a shocking development. I mean, honestly, I have to say, I am so unsurprised. Like, I saw this one coming from a mile away. There were a lot more openings at the time of Kliff Kingsbury interview requests. However, those openings have now dwindled, and so now the New Orleans Saints, they are the only job. Kliff Kingsbury didn't want the job. He's making head coaching money anyway because of his buyout, so there's literally no reason for him to take a job that he doesn't want. But anyway, again, last night, Kellen Moore, he flew to the the Saints flew to the Philadelphia to talk with the Eagles OC, and I think that Kellen Moore would be an excellent hire for the New Orleans Saints head coach, and we actually talked about it yesterday in great detail. You guys got to check it out. The title of that video is The Saints Just Got a Triple Dose of Great News, so highly encourage you to check that video out. Philadelphia this season, they were really, really good offensively. They didn't throw the ball a lot, but they ran the ball very effectively. And, Kellen Moore is a guy who's extremely talented and does have some really good qualities about him. And I think in terms of a leader, I do think he has the skill set to be a quality leader. I think that he does have the ability to adapt and to appeal to the skills and to the strengths on his roster. So we've been able to see, and we've been able to see that over the past few years in his different stops between Dallas, Los Angeles, and Philadelphia. And if he were to be hired, Kellen Moore, fun fact, would be the youngest head coach in all of the National Football League. And he's actually only 6 months older than Demario Davis. I've been very, very high on the idea of hiring a young offensive mind. So you could get the youngest offensive mind. And I think that the Saints are very, very interested in Kellen Moore. And I think with Kellen Moore, he is the top option for the New Orleans Saints. I mean, the Gail Benson and Mickey Loomis, they flew to go talk to him. They could have brought him down. They wanted to go see him. They wanted that interview to be the first thing that they did. They didn't want it to be after McCarthy. They didn't want it to be after anybody else. They said, this week, we're having our second interview in person. We're coming to you. You good? Cool. We'll see you then. They didn't give him a chance to, back out. Absolutely not. So, I think the Saints are going full court press or, an all-out blitz on Kellen Moore. And, another update around the head coaching search. We've discussed this in previous videos. Again, that one's in yesterday's video, the triple dose of news around the head coaching search. Josina Anderson saying that there's a lot of question marks now around Mike McCarthy in the Saints head coaching role. The big thing is honestly around Mickey Loomis, and I think that this is a very telling post. I think that this is a very telling situation, and, if you're outward looking in, the outlook around the Saints is not very positive. But if you're the Saints, you have to start understanding and, kind of coming to terms with the fact that you are viewed as a non-desirable situation and you're viewed as a not good place to be as a coach. So, it's just not a good situation. And the head coaching search, still not done. Here we are. Feels like we've been doing this for 6 months at this point, but here we are. Coming up, we're going to talk about Drew Brees and Adam Schefter. They discussed some stuff. They talked about possibly coming to be the Saints coach. We're going to talk about it here in a moment. Really quick, want to give a shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time, the best ticketing app in the whole wide world. And if you want to get tickets to the big game, you want to get tickets to go to Jazz Fest, you want to go to tickets to see Shaq's Funhouse, well, hey, Game Time's got seats for you. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and to make it easier to find better value tickets for sports, concerts, comedy shows, and theater, and more. Game Time also has features such as all-in pricing, seat views, and you can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. And on top of that, they have the Game Time ticket coverage, meaning your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time, and your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. I got to give a big-time shout-out to Game Time's customer service department. Maddie and I, we wanted to go see a concert for Co Wetzel here in the DFW area. I ordered the tickets. I got them sent to an incorrect email. I had them get them right back to me, no questions asked. It was so helpful. It was so useful. And I just have to say, shout out to Game Time's customer service department. A lot of these places, not that great. Game Time, I'm telling you, the best in the biz, no questions asked. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets and get started with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. Create an account. Use code Chat Sports. You see it right here. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but once again, you download the Game Time app, you create an account, you use code Chat Sports, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Shout out to Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All righty, let's talk about it. Adam Schefter to Drew Brees, no fugazis. Diving right in. Quote, "You say we. And you're such a part of the fabric of that city and that franchise. Will you ever have a role on that team one day?" So Adam Schefter, straight up asking the GOAT, will you ever have a role with the New Orleans Saints outside of the greatest of all time player? Because, I mean, he still refers to the Saints. He says we. He views the New Orleans Saints in the city of New Orleans, the state of Louisiana. That's we. It's not a, oh, yeah, they, or the Saints. It's we. He still views himself as a Saint. Look at what he said on being a coach. "It's in my blood. It's always will be." It's in my blood. It always will be. That's in reference to, you say we. We is in my blood. It always will be. I'm always going to be a Saint. And so whether it's direct or it's indirect, I will always say we. That's my team in my organization. I take so much pride in what we built and what we accomplished. I'm always a resource to help, and I'll always be there. So, my takeaway on that is no, he will not be a head coach anytime soon. And to be totally honest, I don't think he should try to be a head coach anytime soon. I mean, we all know one thing about Drew. He's a family guy. He's the guy who's going to be around for his kids. He's going to be around, with his family and with his wife. He's going to be doing stuff around the city of New Orleans and within the community. Like, maybe this is a conversation we can have when all of his kids are graduated and, off at college. But for the time being, I don't think he's going to be a coach anytime soon. That being said, I would like to see him in a quarterback coach role. Like, just because it's Drew Brees and just because it's the greatest of all time and just because he's the GOAT doesn't mean it's, okay, no matter what, he's going to be a great head coach. Like, I want to see him get hired as a quarterback's coach role. Maybe then you let him see as the offensive coordinator, and then maybe after that it can evolve into a head coaching position. My point being, if anything in the near future, anything in the future whatsoever, start off in a QB coach role and then add more. And then add all of the things of being a head coach, because it's very, very different than just being a player, which, it's not like that's not nothing, but it's very different being a head coach versus a player in the league, especially in today's NFL, which is different than Drew Brees' NFL that he played in. So, hopping back on topic, Adam Schefter to Drew Brees, have you given any feedback on the head coaching search at all? I mean, Schefter, again, asking the GOAT, the hard-hitting questions. No room for, maybe. No, he's asking him direct, and I love it. Feedback? Look, I always have conversations. I always have conversations with everybody in that organization about any number of topics. Hey, what are we looking for? Yeah, those conversations too. I lend my expertise and recommendations when asked. So, he has been asked before. And Drew Brees previously endorsed Aaron Glenn and Kliff Kingsbury. Now we know Kliff Kingsbury, he went off to the Seattle Seahawks. He's their OC. And you can honestly say, you can go back as far as after week 9 when Dennis Allen got fired. That was a death sentence for Kliff Kingsbury. He's gone. Like, he was the OC for Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen got fired. You're not bringing that back. So, I would have liked to see Kliff Kingsbury stick around another year, not as a head coach by any means, but, the fact that Drew Brees also previously endorsed Aaron Glenn and the Saints missed out, like, you overlapped with Aaron Glenn. Like, it's just wacky that this whole thing happened. And honestly, this whole situation took a turn. Come to find out, Aaron Glenn actually never was interested in the New Orleans Saints position. It was all Jets all the time. It was all about the Jets, and it's been that way from the beginning. I mean, see that in the quote? I mean, straight up, never wanted to be the Saint. Never had any interest. He took that job, or he took the Jets interview intentionally first. He took the Jets interview intentionally early. He never wanted another job. So there you go, Mickey Loomis. That's the culture you've created. You've created a place that former players, and I get he is a former Jets player too. He was drafted by the Jets. But a player who ended his career as a player and started his career as a coach just a handful of years ago in New Orleans wants nothing to do with this organization. That should say something. The alarm bells should be going off. Now, really quick, I wanted to just play the hypothetical game. It's a pretty fun conversation. If Drew Brees ever came out and said, hey, I want to be the Saints head coach, would you hire him? Would you let him do it? Just give me a Y for yes or an N for no in the comment section. Y'all stay golden. We're going live later. We'll see you guys around 4:30 Central Time. Hope to see you in our live show. Y'all stay golden. Peace.